Hi there, how are you? Just wanted to bring you another update on South Africa's future. This will be number 17 that's going out in production. So the interest is still definitely out there in the world. And obviously the people living in South Africa, that goes without question. But I'm particularly focusing at this moment in time on the people who are outside South Africa who have vague knowledge on events of what's going on over there, or I'm not reading the situation correctly. Um, People have also been sort of looking at my videos and saying, well, Simon, you've sort of changed your tune from when you started as to where you are now. Um, well, I don't think I have. I mean, I love South Africa, having lived there for a long period of time. Love the people. Um, and I'm disappointed with the way, if anything, it's not that I'm changing my tune. I'm very disappointed with the way things are still progressing. Um, People have said, you've trusted Cyril Ramaphosa, and therefore that makes it wrong. Well, let me correct that situation on what I mean. I think Cyril Ramaphosa is a very capable politician. If he manned up to the situation in South Africa as a sensible person and put the economy of the country first, and therefore its people in the country that live there, because if it's a good economy, the people generally are going to do well within the country. If he manned up to that, then he would certainly have my support. The way he's going at the moment, by focusing more on this whole land debate of taking land away from white landowners, uh, and taking it, literally taking it without any payment, is wrong, and I'm 100%, you know, against that, and therefore I don't support Cyril Ramaphosa. Um, there's lots of theory out there. I mean, there's theory out there I've been reading and I've been getting reports on, which I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's not wrong. It's just theory. That this is part of a bigger plan that started in 1994, and it was agreed with the new ANC when they came into power with other countries around the world, including UK, that this would be the process of how South Africa would eventually go. And various people who took on the role of leading the country took it through these phases to where we are now. But what we've got to now is exactly what was planned, as was going to happen 25 years ago. Theory. I mean, yeah, it might be true. I don't know. I mean, we'll never know that. I mean, I've got to say, politicians around the world can't be trusted anywhere, can they? Let's be realistic. Whether they're South African politicians or African politicians or British politicians or anywhere in the world. I mean, how often do we really need to get new politicians in because we don't trust the old ones? It's all the time. But this is really about humanity and what's right and wrong here. What's right and wrong? I admittedly, when I was living in South Africa in those last few years, I was pro the new South Africa. I was pro the new Rainbow Nation. I was pro waving the new South African flag. I can recall with my colleagues, I can remember, my close friends like Dan Venter and Trevor Thompson and David McAlpin sitting at the rugby in 1995 in the World Cup final, waving the new flag when Nelson Mandela came out onto the pitch to present the trophy. I mean, those were the positive times of where South Africa was going to be moving to. But I don't have that feeling anymore. I don't have that at all. And I've visited South Africa on occasion, but I've never lived in South Africa since 1996. But it's all gone pear-shaped, hasn't it? Let's be realistic. And I'm saying this to particularly people who still doubt that statement. Because I know lots of people who are like me, who are very pro the new South African nation at the time, which have got the same feelings as I've got. They don't feel that way now. What concerns me are there are still people out there in the world who do still have the same views that it's going in the right direction. You know, the sort of this liberal thinking of where South Africa is. And I'm saying, yeah, I think everybody better wake up to this fact now. You know, the market in South Africa is going to shift dramatically. The market, and I always put my commercial head on this, because there's going to be a situation in South Africa with what's happening with land now. It's going to run funds out of the country. Nobody's going to go in and invest in South Africa at all. Why would they? They wouldn't want to. Why would they invest? You know, they wouldn't invest in South Africa. Not with the current debacle going on with land. And anybody who's got any money that they can get out of the country, they're taking it out of the country. And any expertise that's in the country that feels the way I do, which is a lot of people at the moment, are going to leave the country, as they have been. So the country is heading one way. Now, it requires the likes of a Ramaphosa or whoever, the political leader, to man up to this fact. Forget about voting, your votes at the moment, because people in South Africa are being injected with propaganda about land. About land. Land is going to save them. Land is going to put food on the table for them. You know, stability is what's going to put food on the table. And stability can only come with sensible people running the country and managing the country and looking after the economy and therefore looking after the people. And that's how the country can overcome this problem. And we've got the same problem in the UK. I mean, South Africa's got a very unique problem, I know. It's got people who are being enticed into thinking the white man must be kicked out of the country, and all their land must be given to us, the people. That's a unique scenario. I accept that. But we know how that will end up. That'll end up in famine and revolution and fault, because it won't happen quickly anyway. I think for land to go through this transition process, when the constitution is even changed, if it changes, it's going to take years. Obviously, there's going to be blocks with legal requirements, and you know, I was listening to one of my close colleagues in the South Africa saying, you know, there's going to be obviously a wall of legal process that's going to take this on as well, and it's going to take time. And while all that's going on, more and more money is leaving the country. More and more. So the country is going to get poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer as people step back and reverse out of the country. That's what's going to happen. And if there is a civil war in the end, hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully it won't come to that. That will be just the final shoot, won't it? The final scenario. No, I mean, Ramaphosa has got to man up. And all these so-called white liberals that were supporting Ramaphosa's, I've got to man up as well and say, look, this is where it happens. I mean, my journey of starting this first set of vlogs started very positively with let's get this shift. But you'll see my tune change as we got through from episode 6 to episode 12. And I've had lots of debate, and there have been some good guys like Bill, who's been very proactive on my YouTube channel. I've had other people on my other social media sites as well that have been talking and openly having discussions. But I guess the turning point for me came probably around 12 when a good colleague of mine, Mark Lamberti, was forced to resign from Eskom and then Imperial Holdings as CEO for a ridiculous issue, quite honestly. And it just said to me the state of mind in the country is not where it needs to be. If someone like Mark Lamberti, who is pro bringing the country through this difficult process to a fruition where everybody can benefit. Now, if he can't get the process to work, and I know him very well, then I'm saying to myself, the country has no hope. It hasn't got it's got no chance. And we have to be clear. I'm certainly going to raise the issue again with our government here, who seem to write the standard letter, the same as the standard letter in the US about it's all going okay, but we know it's not going okay. And we've got to do what we can to get a process of positive change. I at the moment don't have I don't have any answers for this. I don't know what to suggest, because when you have a country, a democracy as it's been structured as, with one man, one vote as it is in place, but people being brainwashed into what they need to do to vote is well, and governments talking about changing the whole constitution, a constitution which is respected throughout the world in terms of how it operates, how it works legally. And we keep on coming back to apartheid, which ended over 25 years ago. We keep on bringing that up, and that to me is gone. It's about putting a good solid foundation into the country for the future. We don't get that far. People have got to man up. The government, the leaders have got to man up to this and educate their people. It's totally unsatisfactory that an ANC government have been in power for this amount of time and have failed and are still sort of the main party that's looking to take the country forward. They have failed miserably. So it does require another party involved in many respects, but we know where that party could end up coming from. I think we've got to get our voices out there. We've got to get our voices out in the world, and we've got to let people see this, because this is going to turn up to be another humanitarian disaster. That's just going to happen because no one's going to get involved, man up, and make proper, sensible changes and get people happy in their environment. This land thing has got to be shifted. It's not about land. It's about people need jobs, they need homes, they need education, they need good medical services. That's what we need in South Africa. Land is confusing the mind to many over there. They want education, they want jobs, they want medical services, roofs over their head. They want the basic requirements of what everybody needs throughout the world. And this land thing, throw all the white, is just enticing a revolution that, well, if it's the only route forward, and if the rest of the world feel it's the right route for South Africa to go, I'd like to hear them say it instead of pussyfoot around it. Talk to you again soon. Bye bye.